And welcome back, and this is my review of World Trigger Episode 4. Now, am I the only one who didn't realize that there was a break last week? Seriously, I was looking all over the place for World Trigger last week, and I couldn't fucking find it. I was kind of pissed, because I'm really enjoying the series, especially this episode. Now, first off, there's two major things that I want to talk about that happened in this episode, okay? The first is Kitora. Now, if you remember my last episode review, I mentioned how I didn't like her character too much. I thought she was a bit of a bitch, and yeah. Well, here's the thing. I kind of like her character a little bit more because even though she is going to turn Osamu into the higher-ups in Border, she doesn't seem like she's as much of a bitch as she did in episode 3, okay? Like, she doesn't seem as stuck up. She's definitely extremely cocky. Oh, God. Her being an A-rank border agent, oh, she's extremely cocky. But it's almost to the point where it's actually kind of funny and doesn't really even piss me off. Okay? Also, she seems to be a bit of a tsundere, which, contrary to popular belief, since I said that my favorite female in Fate is Saber, people seem to think, instead of Rin, people seem to think that I don't like tsunderes, when in fact, I actually do. To a certain extent, and I think if this keeps up with Kitora, she might turn out to be a really fun character for me, okay? However, my favorite character in the series, at least so far, is definitely Kuga. I love fucking Kuga. Seriously. Oh my god, like, the way he was just calling out Kitora was so fucking hilarious. He was like, well, you know, when Kitora told Osamu that that C-rank border agents are supposed to ask permission to use their triggers, Kuga's all like, well, the triggers once belonged to the neighbors. Do you ask the neighbors every time you use a trigger to fight them or whatever? And it was just so fucking hilarious. Because it's the truth. I mean, I believe that was stated in one of the previous episodes that the triggers originally belonged to the neighbors. Okay. You know, whether everyone knows that or not, I'm not too sure. But still, though, oh my god, and that fucking dirt face of his is so fucking hilarious. Seriously, like, that is meme material right there. Okay. Honestly. Excuse me. So yeah. So, other than that, not anything else really happened in this episode, but it was still really good. Kitora had some pretty decent characterization in this episode to make her a bit more likable, and fucking Kuga is awesome as always. He's been awesome since episode 1, and he's still awesome, okay? Kuga is a fucking badass, and he's funny as hell. An amazing combination, if you know what I mean. But anyways, like always, the animation kind of sucks in the series because this is Toei animation. And obviously, they're focused, at least for the moment, I'm not too sure how One Piece's animation does, but for considering it's the long-running shonen, they probably save the most of their budget for the biggest scenes. But I think for right now, though, Toei Animation is saving the majority of their budget for Sailor Moon Crystal, which is not outstandingly animated, but it's way better than this in terms of animation, basically. Alright, but it's not really detracting me, though, because the story so far is really good. I'm really enjoying the series. If you have yet to see this week's episode of World Trigger, then I definitely recommend that you do. I think the best part about it, despite my complaints, or despite how much I love Kuga in this episode as always, I think my favorite part about it was getting a little bit more characterization for Kitora. Also, that one A-rank border agent who was accompanying Kitora, I really liked him in this episode because towards the beginning of this episode, he said that he'll put in a good word with the higher-ups to try to get Osamu a less serious punishment because he feels like he owes him because Osamu saved his younger brother and younger sister, even though he kind of didn't. That was kind of, you know, Kuga, but obviously Osamu can't tell him that. So yeah, but anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.